All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, this is Kyle Morton with Team Georgia Marketplace, and I was the project lead from the DOAS side on doing the implementation of the Team Georgia modules of the TeamWorks application for DOL. And during this webinar again is being recorded, and so if you want to come back later, you'll receive from Bruce the Bruce Burbank and the DOL purchasing, you will receive the link to this webinar. So anytime you have some questions and you want to review this, you can go in and watch it again. Today we're going to be going through basically the requisitioning to purchase order process, entering a rec into the Team Georgia Marketplace application, showing how that gets routed for approval. And then if you're an approver, I'm going to show you how to log into the application and approve the requisition, push it forward in the approval process, and then if you're a buyer, I'm going to show you how to take that requisition and turn it into a purchase order. So along the way I will stop and check for questions, so you should see a box in the GoToMeeting where you can type in some questions that you've got for me. I will tell you there's some very specific questions on DOL. I may not be able to answer them, but I will get those questions to the correct person in the purchasing department so that they can get back in touch with you and answer your questions. So really this webinar is to go back. All of you should have gone through the ePro for requesters training class through DOAS, the face-to-face instructor-led class, and taken the class, passed the test, and then gotten your user ID or your credentials from DOL so that you can go ahead and log into the system and start putting in the requisitions for what you want ordered. So that's basically the process that we're going to go through today. And so go ahead and get started with the presentation part, and then I'll get into the system. So if you have, like I said, you should have gotten an email, and you're probably getting a lot of emails about the application, and then it will be a lot over the next few weeks. So please read those, get into them, and see what's going on by keeping up with what emails you get, because there will be some changes and different things that you're going to need to know around your processes and things like that. So you should have gotten your user ID and password. If you have any questions, if you need your password reset or you get locked out, DOL is set up to email either the Solution Center at gdol@ga.gov or call the phone number. If you have any questions on doing the P-card reconciliation, you will contact Kathy Cordell in the purchasing department. If it's related to the budget on the P-card, then you will use the phone number that's on the screen. And we did do a P-card webinar yesterday that's been recorded and sent out. So if you haven't had a chance to, couldn't attend yesterday's webinar, you can contact Kathy for the link to watch that webinar. And if you have any questions on how to do your requisitions in Team Georgia Marketplace, then you can reach out, email Bruce, or email purchasing the email address that they've set up for those questions. And again, if you have any questions related to the budget of how to code the what are called the chart fields on the requisition, then you can reach out to the budget office at the phone number. All right, so the first thing that we'll get started in is we're going to log in. I've given you on this, and I did share this presentation with you through the GoToMeeting application. And this has the link to production, but you should have already gotten that in your email. When you first log in, it will ask you to reset your password and set up your 3 hint questions. This keeps you, anytime you need to reset your password, you won't have to call anyone. You can actually answer those questions for yourself, and then it'll let you reset your password. You can't reuse passwords, and there are some restrictions on what the password length needs to be. One of the first things you want to do is go into and validate your email address that you'll see on the screen once you log in. You don't want to. We want you to use your state-issued email address. Don't use a personal email address. A lot of times, if you set up a personal email address, it can block when you're trying to use the application and send email notifications to other people that are using the app, or using Team Georgia Marketplace. So you do want to use your DOL. It also helps if, in case you're not getting email messages, we can go in and track to see if those were received in the email server. This is a link to the quick reference guides, and so I'm just going to launch a new browser to show you where to find those on the website, on DOAS's website. So if you go to doas.ga.gov, and if you scroll down into this box called Team Georgia Resources, and then click on the Team Georgia Marketplace, and then if you scroll down to, you click on this TGM for state agencies, and then if you scroll further down, you will see the TGM Quick Reference Guides, and if you click on that link, it will launch a PDF that has links to really their step-by-step guides for entering requisitions, for example. So in the e-procurement guides, this is how you go in and for example, we're going to go through this one, is create a requisition for a statewide contracted item. We're going to go out to a Staples website and pull in some items for that. And then also we're going to go through creating a special item requisition, which are things that are not on statewide contract. And then we're also going to go through how to approve a requisition. So those are the main processes that we're going to go through today, and then these are the quick reference guides on if you want, you just click on the link and they'll launch them and you'll have a copy. So it's really just step-by-step of how to go in and enter a requisition. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, go ahead and start the approval process. So if I'm an approver, you will get an email notification each time a requisition gets submitted for your approval. So you'll get an email notification that has the URL back into the TeamWorks application, so you can click on that URL. It'll make you log in each time. The approval process does work from mobile devices as well, so it's sometimes it's a little hard to see, but you can actually, it's better on an iPad or a tablet than it is a phone, of course, but they do work from those devices. We have found them. They're not actually supported with this version of PeopleSoft, but we have had users that are currently using it. If that makes any sense, but it has worked for people to use their tablets to do the approval process. And there's really a couple different ways. You can click on the URL, which will take you directly to the approval page, or you can go underneath e-procurement and click on Manage Requisition Approvals. And so we always get somebody calls and says, I clicked on Manage Requisition Approvals, but I'm not seeing anything. Well, you have to click Search, and it brings up the list of all the requisitions that are currently waiting for your approval. And this is just if you need to see, you can expand to see all of the line items that are on the requisition from this page, okay? But to actually approve it, so this is number 3 and number 4, you just click on the link, and that opens it up on the approval page. So this is the approval page. I'll go ahead and minimize the menu so I can see everything. This is the approval page, so that's one way to get through to it, is clicking on this Manage Requisition Approvals. And again, you can make that a favorite so that it comes up underneath your favorites, up underneath My Favorites, so you don't have to do this navigation. So that's one way to get to the requisitions to approve. The other way is to click on your work list. And so your work list is going to have basically, it's going to have the list of outstandings. The ones that say approval routing are the ones that are just work list entries for the requisition, so that you can see in here rack number 3 and 4. So you can use your work list, or you can use this approval page. I'm going to go ahead and just click on the link, and it takes me to the exact same page of where I can see the requisition that I need to approve. In the requester's justification, you'll see these are the comments. And again, I'm only going to see comments here if they've remembered to click that justification checkbox. That's how header comments are seen on this approval page. If I want to see all of the chart field information, so if I want to see where this requisition is against the budget, I can click on Select All and then click the View Line Details. And that will launch a page that basically has all of the lines where it is against the budget. For example, this has 2 distribution lines where it was split out. This tells you it's 80-20. And then you see the different lines, line 2 and line 3. Close that. If I am an approver and I notice that they've coded something wrong, or they've ordered too many things, and I need to make a change to it, as an approver, you have the ability to go in and edit the requisition. So you just click on Edit Requisition, and it takes you back to, it will open up the requisition on the Review and Submit page. Okay, and if we're in step 3 or 4 of the approval process, and you make a change such as increasing or decreasing the requisition, it will start the approval process back over. If you're just changing something like the chart fields of where it needs to go against the budget, it does not start the approval process back over. Okay, so approvers do have the ability to edit the requisition. So we'll click back on the work list. Still there because I haven't approved it yet, number 3. You'll notice it's currently pending me. I'm logged in as Bruce. I can use the ad hoc functionality. So if I want it to go to someone before it goes to Lisa, I just click the the green checkbox, and I can put in a TeamWorks user ID. I click on Insert, and it'll insert the step. And I have to click this Apply Approval Changes for it to keep that step there. Go ahead and just take out that step for right now. And I can put in approval comments. They're not required, but they are helpful if you want to keep notes of your approval. So if you approve, it's going to route to the next step. If you deny, it's going to send an email notification to the requester that their requisition has been denied. It will send them an email, and then comments are required on a denial. So you have to explain why you're denying the rec. So we'll go ahead and click on Approve. So you'll now notice that this has been approved, and now it's pending the next person in the next step. And I'm going to come back to my work list. I'm going to click on the next one. Exact same page. If I want to see the attachments or the comments at the line level, I can click on the comment bubble. It brings up the comments, and I can also see the attachments that were put on the line as well. I can view them. Come back to the previous page. Again, I have the ability to do an ad hoc. And I'm going to go ahead and just approve this rec. So now this requisition number 4 has been approved, and they're both current. Both of the requisitions are currently pending Lisa's approval. Go ahead and sign out and log in now with Lisa's ID. So 2 different ways. I can come up to the work list and see the 2 requisitions that need my approval, or I come underneath eProcurement, Manage Requisition Approvals, and click on Search. I click on the rec ID, have the exact same functionality as the first approver. There is one additional button that's on this page for anyone that's passed the first approver. You'll notice that there's this pushback button. Okay, so the pushback button basically pushes the requisition back to pending the previous step. Okay, so if the approver forgot something, for example, you push it back to them. Okay, so a denial goes back to the original requester, telling them why it's been denied, but a pushback goes back one previous step. But I'm going to go ahead and just approve it. I click on approve. It now goes to approved, and because it's the last step in the approval process, it has sent an email notification back to the requester telling them that their requisition has been approved. I can then do next in list, which then goes to the next requisition, which is number 4. Go ahead and approve it. And now the 2 requisitions are approved. Any questions on the requisition process? Excuse me, the requisition approval process. Andrea asking a question that's, can you show us a rec for student payments and tuitions? Bruce will have to give you instructions on how they want those requisitions entered in the system. There'll definitely be special requests, but there'll be a special request, but the specifics of what attachments and what your line items need to be that'll need to come from Bruce, and he'll give you instructions on how he wants those student payments and tuitions done on a requisition. Oh, that's a good question. Cynthia was asking, if I am the approver and will be out of the office for several weeks, would I enter the regional operations director with ad hoc button for approval? No, there's a better way to actually do that. If you know, so the things that are currently pending you, so if they're already been routed to you, you would need to go ahead and approve those, or you would need to have Bruce log a ticket to have those rerouted to someone else. But if you know that you're going to be out of the office for a period of time and you want requisitions automatically routed to someone else for approval, you click on this link down here called My System Profile. And on My System Profile, you can set up this section called Alternate User. And so you just put in, for example, I'm going to be out next week. I can just say from starting on Monday through the following Sunday, anything that comes to me for approval will automatically be rerouted, and the system will track that it did that. It'll reroute that requisition from me to this other person that you designate here. And then starting on the 19th, it'll start coming back to me. But those are only for new requisitions that are sent to you. Existing things that are already pending your approval, you would need to go ahead and get those approved. But if you'd push them back to someone if you're going to be out, or if you're not ready to approve it, or wait till you get back. Or if they're already pending you, you can get Bruce to log a ticket to have them reassigned to someone else. Okay, and you just save that, and then it will. If you do this alternate user, then it'll reroute them automatically. Any other questions on the approval process?